Hi all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of the day you are joining me. I'm Analyst Ankur and I'm back with another interesting session. So as you know, I covered the IT engineering and the SaaS markets from both an enterprise standpoint and a provider landscape, provider sentiment. Today, the session is solely focusing on enterprise landscape, and that too a technology that has been in talks for quite some time. It was developing maybe 5, 7 years back. We were saying that these would be having quick adoption. We are seeing good adoption in a market like India, where the public charging is facing is still quite nascent. Um, so we would be talking about the EV markets. I am joined by Mr. Vikram. Sir, pleased to meet you. Please help the audience with your quick intro.
Yes. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So my name is Vikram Chaudhary. I work with the Financial Express newspaper based in Delhi. I'm a features writer, write on multiple sectors, but most of my writings is about cars and bikes and the auto industry.
Right. So, sir extensively covers the auto space. For the knowledge of my audience, I have recently covered the enterprises in the Indian automotive ancillary landscape. So, how those companies are performing. Let me quickly show the results of that, and then we would jump to the and then we would jump to as to how the different EV positions are happening in the market. This is the state of the digital transformation in Indian automotive ancillaries covered at House of Analyst Ankur, and all of these companies are relevance, holding significant relevance in the market. I won't be deep diving on each of these, but I would be quickly calling out that some of the companies are very strong in the pre-manufacturing and manufacturing capabilities. However, some of them are very strong in the post-manufacturing setup. These companies, some of them have very strong play in supporting the EV markets, and that's why today we are talking about the EV markets. So, coming back to our discussion of the topic for today, it is about the EV markets. So, first question, what makes EV attractive to the consumers?
Well, it's low low cost of ownership, low cost of running. But it depends on different kinds of EVs. What kind of EVs do you mean? For example, somebody who runs a three-wheeler, for that person, it's a very good proposition, and that's why last year more than 50% three-wheelers sold in India were electric. I mean, this was unbelievable a few years ago, like more than 50%. But why this matters for a three-wheeler owner is that because a three-wheeler has to run within a defined radius of about, let's say, 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers. So that
Right.
charging is not really a problem. I mean, he can do his morning work. Then when he's having lunch or something, then the three-wheeler can charge. Then he can do his evening work and so on. So three-wheelers, it's a major success. Then coming to two-wheelers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
within two-wheelers, there are two segments. One is scooters and one is motorcycles. Now, if you
Yes.
see that most of the electrification is happening in scooters, not in motorcycles,
Yes.
because traditionally motorcycles are used for long distance
Agreed.
rides,
Yeah.
from one city to another and so on. Now,
Yeah.
that would mean bigger battery.
Yeah.
Now, we don't really have as big battery. I mean, if you install a bigger battery on a motorcycle, the weight increases and the
Yeah.
range, commensurate range decreases. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but scooters are mostly run within 20, 30, 40 kilometers of radius in small cities, even in bigger cities. I mean, you don't really take a scooter daily from Gurgaon to Noida, right?
Right.
So, so scooter has a small radius. Now, because it has small radius, uh, uh, so electrification is happening more in scooters. And last year, about 9% or 10% scooters sold in India were electric, and the other
Got it.
90% were petrol. Scooters also have a engineering point of view. I mean, they have this body shape benefit. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the traditional area where there used to be a what under the rear seat, where there used to be the engine and petrol tank and everything. Now you can easily install a battery. Another thing happening in scooter is that there's this removable battery concept.
Yes.
Now, yeah. So like Vida launched the VX2 last year. It had a removable battery. It launched in July. So from July to December, its sales doubled. just because of that removable battery. I mean, if you live in a, let's say, 15th floor of a house, so how will you charge your scooter? You can just carry your battery. It's a 10 kg battery. You can carry it to your home and charge it. So this was about two-wheelers. In cars, it's very interesting. In cars, in 2024, the
So I would
electrification,
actually, before we jump to the cars, in the two-wheeler
yeah,
segment, what's your quick take on, I won't name any of the company, but certain products are picking up fire, right?
yeah.
And those are not very strong. Like the customer feedback is not very positive. How do you see that impacting the ecosystem? How do you see that see it from an adoption standpoint? Like while on one hand we are saying the total cost of ownership is lower and that's why a scooter owner can buy it, but what if the life of the scooter is very less compared to the one that is marketed? So how is that affecting the
But
yeah?
I'm not sure what do you mean by life of the scooter is less? Uh,
So see, the total cost of ownership is less over, say, the next 5 years, right? Over the next, if it runs for the next 5 years, but the multiple incidents that we have seen in the Indian market and a lot of which are coming in the video circulations as well of the scooter picking up fire. So, uh,
So that used to happen. That yes, that's a valid point. That happened a lot in 2022 and a little bit in 2023. That was because they were doing product development way too fast. They were not
mhm,
really testing it. But I believe after 23, especially in 24 and 25, there have been very few cases, almost negligible cases of fires and such incidents in scooters,
got
because
it.
these especially by big makers. They would still be some scooters by, let's say, a small startup who is not able to test it properly. There may
Hmm.
be some cases and all, but
Hmm.
I'll take just big names like Bajaj, TVS, Ather, or any of these big names. I mean, who can afford perfect, I mean, amazing testing of the scooters
Yes,
before they're
yes.
launching in the market. So there are not really any cases, at least for the last two in the last 2 years.
Got it. And if I am reading your sentiment right, even if those cases have been there in the market, that have not deterred the adoption of scooters from a customer
No, no,
standpoint.
they
Okay.
did initially. There was in 2022 when there were a lot of fires. There was a backlash from customers, people who wanted to buy, and there's also data because the way EVs, I mean, electric scooter uptake was happening,
Mm-hmm.
that was slowed around mid 2022 when there were a lot of cases. So that had slowed down. But after a year, and people, when they have confidence in the product,
Yeah.
and it was also about, it was also about, most people didn't really know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And there were cases of improper storage by the
Yeah.
dealers and so
Right,
on.
right,
Yeah.
right. Obviously, sir, market development and market education is also the responsibility of the company that's selling it. So I believe since starting,
Yeah.
or maybe as we are saying, from 2022 till today, we are sitting in 2026, a lot of developments have happened in the market education as well, and that will contribute positively. So now let's quickly jump to how the passenger vehicles are panning out in the EV space. So what's your take?
Mhm.
Like, is it again the same? If I have to talk about multiple factors, one is range anxiety, one is the tech features that are there. I remember MG is the company that brought in a suite of tech cabins in the market. So tech cabins, range anxiety, then total cost of ownership. So which of these parameters are sitting where? Like how are they ranked in the passenger vehicle space?
Okay, so I'll start with some data. So in 2024, just 2.5% of the cars sold in India were electric.
Hmm.
But in 2025, this increased to 4%.
Okay.
Uh, thanks to two new models by Mahindra, B6 and XEV9e, MG Windsor Pro, Hyundai Creta Electric, Kia Carens Clavis EV, and sustained performance by Tata's EVs.
Yeah.
Now, when there is more model choice in the market, so obviously, people will come to the showrooms, people will buy. Somebody who didn't really want to buy a Hyundai electric, But now he sees in the showroom and he goes and he says, okay, let me buy it, let me try it, and so on. So that's why that EV penetration is increasing in India.
Mm-hmm.
This year, 2026, I believe it can almost double to 7 to 8%. Some people also say it can touch 10%.
Okay.
Reason is Maruti Suzuki, the country's largest player, is coming in EVs, right? Uh, then Toyota is coming in EVs. So both have displayed their models, EV models, and I think by next month, both will be launching them. So once these biggest players, like Toyota and Maruti, they have about 48% market share right now overall.
Right. Right.
So when both of them come in the EV segment, so this is bound to take off. So I believe it will take off. This year it could be 8% or even 10%. Now coming to how people buy EVs, so there's a difference um, as compared to a petrol car. EV, according to Tata Motors, almost 90% of the EVs they sell are the second car. It's not the first car.
Hmm.
So somebody who already has an EV at home will buy, sorry, another car,
I
a
see
petrol
it.
or diesel
Yeah.
car at home, will buy an EV just for within the city usage kind of.
Got it.
So yeah, because he wants to have peace of mind when he wants to go to, let's say, Delhi, Jaipur, or long distance and all. So he will take his petrol or diesel or ice car, right? But
So
for
if
daily
I am
usage,
yeah, so if I'm taking a corollary from it, then when Geo had entered the market, and if you remember, it was the news in the market that Geo is not having so much connection points and the call gets big. So what people were saying was our first SIM belongs to Airtel or Vodafone, and the second SIM is belonging to Geo. It may be similar
yeah,
situation is
perfect,
panning out.
perfect. Yes, yes, yes. But now what's happening is last year, because the range is increasing. Now, the Tata data was from 2022, 23, 24,
Mm-hmm.
when the battery size was, 40 kilowatt hour, 45 kilowatt hour. Uh, Even their biggest battery was like, Tata Curve, which was 55 kilowatt hour,
Yeah.
right? Which had a range of about, let's say, 300, 320, maximum 350 kilometers. But now what happened last year? Last year, Mahindra launched two batteries, 59 and 79 kilowatt hour. Tata
Yeah.
launched two batteries, 65 and 75 kilowatt hour. Then BYD, Chinese player, it came with a battery of almost, I think, 82 kilowatt hour. This means range is 500 plus kilometers. Now, like Tata Harrier EV, the bigger battery, and let's say Mahindra B6 and XEV9E with a 79 kilowatt hour battery, the real range is almost 480 to 500 kilometers. If you drive without AC, it can go up to 500, 550 kilometers also. Now, this means that most of these Mahindra EVs and all, they're not really second. They're the
Yeah.
first car and the only car in the family. Now, what used to happen was, like people used to have range anxiety, but now people who have the money, they're thinking that, okay, oh, such a big car, such a big battery, I won't really have range anxiety. So people are experimenting with this. Another thing happening in EVs is people are buying bigger battery variants. For example, let's say Tata offers two battery variants in the Curve, 45 and 55. 80% people buy 55. Okay, it offers in the Harrier, it offers like 65 and 75 battery, the size kilowatt hour. Almost 90% of people are buying the 75. Similarly, in Mahindra, it's about 70 to 80% people are buying the bigger battery. So what people are doing is similarly in MG, Windsor EV, people are buying the bigger battery pack. What people are doing is that if I have to buy an EV, let me make it my only car and buy the bigger battery pack instead of keeping two cars. So
Right.
that's what's happening. But still, it's a very niche area. 4% is it's very small.
So I believe
So let's see how. Hmm.
in terms of how any new technology is adopted, we have the early adopters there in the market. I believe the early adopters have entered the market, and if the percentage
Hmm.
reaches a 10%, I believe it is actually surpassing the early adopters and entering the hype stage, wherein people are saying, "I also have a EV. I also have a EV." Maybe that phase we can see
Yes,
in the
yes.
next couple of years, maybe next 3 years, that phase can be there, and that 10% can jump from a 10% to maybe a 20% or so. Depends on how
Yeah, yeah.
Maruti
There's another
positions
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. But there's also another thing. The data says that people who get used to EVs, because EVs are fast, EVs are quiet, EVs are they have so many technologies and all. they generally don't go back twice.
Okay. But I believe that situation is yet to be seen by people. Like people who have bought even the
Yeah.
first EVs,
Hmm.
they aren't aged EVs in that sense. So
Yes,
so
yes.
that data will come in
No,
once
but
those
I'm
people.
saying that's a that what I'm saying is that's a global data. That
Right.
globally, when people turn to EVs, they generally don't turn back twice. I mean, that's a global data.
Got it. Got it. The other thing
Yeah.
that I had in mind was I was reading this article and this particular thing itched me a bit, like the range anxiety thing that is being called out. So even for Venza EV, I believe the marketed uh, range is 330 or 350 odd kilometers, right? So how a
So,
customer,
hmm.
yeah. So I just
Yeah,
have
please
this
tell me. No.
question. So my only question is, uh, doesn't 350 kilometers create a range anxiety in people, or isn't a Grand Vitara? I am not very sure if they are very comparable segments, but I'm just trying to compare the EV with the hybrids, like which have option of being run on petrol or diesel as well. So aren't it a better option over a 350-kilometer ranged vehicle, which is marketed at 350 and can be much lower than 350 as well? So what's your quick take on it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Seriously, I mean, that's still there in the minds of the people who buy EVs. Range anxiety is still there because mm, across India we have about 8,000 chargers, which is not a lot for a huge country such as India. Second thing is, most of these chargers are within cities. There are not many chargers on the highways. So obviously, range anxiety is one thing. Another thing is, like, if you have to buy EVs, uh, there is some kind of disadvantage if you, let's say, you're sitting in, you live in multi-story apartments, which most of urban India lives. Because it's easy to install a charging bar at if you're living on the ground floor or first floor, right?
Yeah,
But if you're living on 15th floor, you have to pay more. I mean, these companies can still install to your uh, to your meter, but still, I mean, it's higher cost because of you may have to pay for wiring and so on,
yeah.
right?
And considering the
So
fact that a lot of Indian apartments are not built in a manner, at least they were not planned in
yes,
a manner. That's one thing. And a lot of
for EVs,
places, parking, anyways, parking is a challenge. And then parking coupled with charging is another thing that's being called out. The,
definitely, yeah.
the third thing that I want to quickly understand from you is what is this whole concept of battery as a service? Like, how is this concept panning out, and what is the mindset of the companies behind offering it was and the users who are opting it?
So when it was launched 2 years ago, it was launched by MG Windsor EV in in four wheelers and by Hero Vida VX2 in two wheelers last year. Okay, so two companies offer it right now. Uh, they thought that it will become very popular, but in the case of MG, just about 10 to 15% people consider this battery as a service. They don't really uh, uh, go for a battery as a service. They just want although battery is a surface, if you don't drive much, it's actually cheaper to run because you're not paying a lot of money. I mean, let's say you're saving money, 4 lakh rupees. You're saving, right? If you're saving at least 4 lakh rupees, you can invest that 4 lakh rupees in the market, and then
Yeah.
you can earn a lot more, right? But people don't want that. People don't want this hassle of paying per kilometer to MG every 3 months, which
Okay.
is
Okay.
battery as a service. Battery as a service is you pay, let's say, 10 lakh rupees for a car, but then
Mm-hmm.
you give back to MG about 4.5 kilometers or 4 kilometers, so 4 rupees per kilometer. So if, let's say, in 3 months you drive 2000 kilometers,
Mm-hmm.
then you give 8,000 rupees to MG, right?
Okay.
Now people don't want, yeah, and this is on top of their charging costs.
Okay. This is on top of the
Charging
charging
cost is
cost.
separate.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So basically, the
another
ownership,
option
or
is
so here the ownership of the battery lies with the company. Is it the case?
with the company.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So now what happens is another option is you pay 14 lakh rupees and then you don't have to deal with the company at all. It's just your car. Uh,
Got it.
so people don't want this hassle of, every 3 months connecting with the company spokesperson. That person is asking how much did you drive. I mean, company anyway gets to know because the car is connected. So the bill
Mm-hmm.
will come to you how many kilometers you have driven.
So
People don't want that hassle.
at what point in time is the battery getting replaced? Every 3 months, the battery, a new battery is being
No,
provided
no,
on that.
battery is not getting replaced. Battery will stay in the car for 8 years or 10 years or whatever.
Okay, okay,
When you're driving the car, uh, because it's a connected car, so battery is technically with the company. It's not, the
okay.
company is not taking it back.
Got it. The cost of the battery is not
Battery is in
included
the
in the
car.
ini. Okay, the cost of the battery at the
Yes,
initial
yes.
upfront level
Cost
is
is
not.
a,
Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. So
Got
that's what's happening now. It has become more of a marketing tool. Now what happens is, otherwise, if there's no battery on the surface, you will market your car as 14 lakh rupees, let's say. But when it's battery as a service, you can market it as 9.99. Now, when
9.9.
the customer
Yeah.
says 9.99, he goes to the showroom. He goes to the showroom, and then the salesperson, he turns that visit into a sale, right?
Got it.
So you attract more people for battery as a service, but people are not really taking it. People just want to buy upfront. They don't want to be into that hassle of paying 3 months after 3 months. Like let's say you buy a petrol car. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a petrol car is like you buy an Alto for 5
Yeah.
lakh rupees. Now it's
Yes.
yours. You
Yes.
run for petrol and everything. That's fine. But Maruti says that okay, I will uh, charge you just 3 lakh rupees for the Alto. Petrol you will fill. But let's say you run 100 kilometers, you pay me 500 rupees extra on top of that petrol.
Right.
You got
Right.
my point?
I,
So
I'm
this
I'm getting.
this
Yeah.
this
Right.
so that's why this did not really become popular.
Got it. Got it. Maybe this can become popular in the future. Some more technicalities can be moved in this scheme to make it better. But that's a topic of discussion for another
Yeah.
day. The final question that I have is on the tech-sensitive cabins. MG was, I believe, the first company which brought in the 10-inch screens in the cars, and though at that time I believe those were the USP that they were trying to market, and I believe today a lot of companies are doing the same. I would just like to apprise my audience that European Commission, EU, and CAP recently got this uh, recently got this rule which will penalize cars that rely solely on touchscreens for essential functions like wipers,
Hmm.
turning signals, and handles. So, your quick take on are people liking it? Are people liking the tech-sensitive cabins? One, are they getting addicted to it? And have you heard anything from the regulators similar to what EU NCAP is doing?
I know it's a headache. Honestly, it's a headache. People are complaining. People do
Okay.
complain about this. But when you buy a car, it becomes your own car. I mean, when if let's say I buy an MG, now it's not an MG car, it's my car, right? So
Yes.
then I get used to that product. I get used to that product. For example, MG did this stupid thing of if you have to increase the volume of set or set the rear view mirrors, you have to go inside the screen, then go deep inside, find that
Hmm.
that particular control and then do it. Now
Yeah.
it's a hassle. It's a safety issue also, right?
Yeah.
But if let's say I'm using the car every day, I might get used to this, or I might do one thing. Okay, let me stop on a side and then do it. But
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
not easy as
It's
doing it
it's
on
not a
physical buttons.
physical handle is missing.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
you heard from the regulators on this side similar to what
No, not
app?
as of now. Not as of now. But teams such as regulators, such as teams such as ARAI, the institute, the Automotive Research Institutes, and other bodies, they have raised this issue. But there's nothing from the government as of now. But I think in India, it won't really come from the government. It will come from the car makers themselves, because
Okay.
car makers have started realizing that there is some amount of backlash about this. Now they don't want to risk any of the sales. So
Yeah.
MG might not do it in their current cars because it's very difficult to introduce a new physical button. You have to change a lot of things. You have to
Yes.
change a lot of wiring and things and everything. But let's say if they launch a new car, they will try not to introduce so many, such
Yeah.
a excessive cabin.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
anyways, I believe those would have good cost benefits for the car makers itself. These new
yeah,
tech cabins would have come at a cost to them. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
All it was a nice interaction talking with you, sir. We got varied
Thanks.
perspectives on how the consumer side of the EV market is working, and I have got certain ideas to pitch towards the enterprises as well as to what the
Hmm.
customers are liking and not so much liking. Thank you.
Can I just add something? Can I just add something? Sorry, it's sort of,
Sure, sure. Please go ahead.
stepping in. So the thing is, I did not really talk about trucks and buses. Uh, that's another good area because in the buses segment, we are seeing a lot of electrification happening in city buses. Like buses in Delhi, Jaipur, big cities. A lot of electrification is happening. So that's one opportunity area for enterprises. Um, in trucks, electrification might not happen at the same rate because trucks have to run long distances. In trucks, what will happen is PHEV. Sorry, not
Okay.
PHEV plus hydrogen fuel cell vehicles.
Okay. Got it.
Uh, so so FCEV, so fuel cell electric vehicles. That's what will happen in trucks. Tata has already introduced. I think Ashok Leyland has also introduced. They are very expensive right now, so that's why they are not becoming popular. But once they become more affordable, I think. So that's the different route. City buses electric, long
Hmm.
distance buses diesel,
Diesel. Yeah.
PHEV,
Yeah.
diesel PHEV, trucks mostly FCEV or PHEV.
Got it. Got it. I know we are closing this discussion on the EVs with significant focus on the passenger vehicles market, but I was getting the questions on the passenger vehicle market more as compared to other set of the markets. So that's why I have
Yeah,
tried to focus more here. Thank you, Vikram sir,
no
for
problem.
joining in. It was a super helpful session, and I believe it would help both the consumers as well as the enterprises to know what is happening in the market because you and me are sitting at the intersection of enterprises and the consumers. So thank you everyone for joining this understanding, joining this debate come discussion at House of Analyst Anchor, and we will be back with another session pretty soon.